Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Think Out Loud, Minds on the Mic, where we talk about life, school, and whatever thoughts come to mind, providing a platform for your ideas. I'm your host, your speaker, your friend, Rebollido. With that out of the way, let's start talking. So today, we all know that we've experienced the stress in school so much. With all of the works piling up, with all of the friends trying to pressure you. There's a lot of stress in school. And as I said before in my past video, that stress in school results in less productivity. And less productivity, it means you have lower grades in school. And school is really important. So, we've tackled how to schedule your time, how to schedule the procedures in your life so that it won't pile up and you know what you're gonna do every single minute and you don't have to think about it too much. But that's only half of the picture, not even half maybe. And I want to talk to you about one of the reasons why we feel pressured to be competitive, why we feel pressured by our peers, and why we feel the sense of people pressuring us to do something, even if no one comes up to us and says it right in our faces. So, just a disclaimer, I am no psychiatrist and this is just based on my own research, and if you really need help, please consider talking to a real psychiatrist, but I really think this could serve some enlightening to what is happening right now, to what is happening to you or to the people listening right now. So, let's start with the intro. So I will be tackling why this is happening. I will be tackling what is happening. I will be tackling the distress it causes and what are the solutions or what are the things that you should do to prevent or not make it too dangerous or detrimental to your health. So let's start with the why it's happening. So the fundamentals. So if you have read this, if you go to psychology.nethq.com, and it's just basically all over the internet, and also it is a used development chart in psychology. It is the Erik Erikson psychosocial development chart. This psychosocial development theory of Erik Erikson explains the different stages of life and what we learn from it, what we experience, and then what virtue we realize or what we learn from it. So, from ages 0 to 3 like that, it explains why the things are happening in our life. But this is just a development chart and this just to see what is happening to you right now or to see what are you going through right now. So, the sense of trying to compete and trying to be accepted, it can be described in the chart using Erik Erikson's psychosocial development theory. So, one is if you're 6 to 13, you have industry versus inferiority. So, what is that? So, industry is your ability to be or to do something. Industry is you doing something. Inferiority, of course, you feeling you're below others. So, this happens from 6 to 13 years old. You feel the need to do something, to be better, to compete, to be industrious, and not to feel inferior. And the chart says that in this part of life, you learn competency. You learn how much you can do compared to others, and just learn what things you can do, how competent you are in doing things. That's the question. What can I do? What can I do in my life? What are my abilities? That is basically the idea of this. So, kids try to compete, and if they can do the things that their peers can do and they can do it better, they feel a sense of joy, a sense of pride because they feel that they're industrious. They feel that they can do the things that they need to do or they want to do. So that's essentially the thing why you can see children trying to one-up each other. But the industry versus inferiority comes with its pros and cons. First, you learn your competency, that's the pro. Yet, you have this sense of envy, of feeling abandoned if you can't do anything. You feel this sense of my friends won't like me. And this is not gonna be said by anyone. You're just gonna feel it because it is a part of development. You need to develop what you can do. And to know what you can do and what you can't, you need to see it being done by others. And you want to do it. However, you can't do it, that's why you feel inferior. You feel that you can't do something that you want to do, that's why you are incompetent in doing it. And that's really stressful. You see, our fear of being abandoned, being forgotten, and trying to associate ourselves with others' ability is really difficult, It is a part of life, and it is a part of growth, but it is really stressful if you try to compete with others. That's why there are times that you can see your friends competing, and then you see that one fail, and then the person gets really angry. That's the reason why we want to be great when we are 6 to 13 years old. And not just 6 to 13 years old, but basically in that time span. We want to be industrious rather than inferior. So that explains our want to be better, our want to be great, as we can see. And it comes with its perks, You now know what you can do. But there's another level to that. And that is when you're 13 to 21 years old. It is identity versus role confusion. So, you want a sense of identity. You want a sense of role in your life. And that's the moment you try to figure out, what can I do and who am I? What do I feel? What should I feel in this moment? What should I be in the future? And if you don't realize that in that moment in time, you're really gonna have a hard time fitting in as an adult, because as an adult, we find our places in society, we find our jobs, we find our partners, we find our friends. Permanent friends, not just friends that you see in school, not just acquaintances, real friends that you can talk to and go to. And with that, we need to realize who we are as a person. And this is very crucial. We try to figure out still, what can I do? But also, we try to figure out what are we ought to be in the societal norms. And it really plays an important part in our identity that we find the right person with the right values. And I'm not talking about partner-wise, I'm talking about friends-wise. There's a lot of things that you can be influenced in this age. This is the moment where you want to impress your friends, so you know what sort of societal norms you need to conform to. However, not all of those societal norms you can conform to, because of course, if you have the wrong values or if you have the wrong mindset in this age, you're gonna bring that when you're an adult and you're gonna live by it. And it's really stressful if you have the wrong mindset and then you try to do something and then it fails. So what do we learn in this time? You might think that it is just a moment in time where you're very stressed, where you cannot do anything, and then after it, you're an adult and that's okay. No. First, you learn fidelity. You learn the sense of confidence, the sense of openness to the people who have the right kind of values that you want, that you think that is really helpful for you, that you think it is very important you learn. Because if you don't know the right people and the right values you want, then you're gonna end up confused. And if you don't know the right things to do, and you are confused on what you should do, and if you're still confused in what you should do even if you're past 21, it's really difficult. Because that's the time where we discover ourselves. And again, fidelity is important because now you're gonna have this sense of openness and sense of confidence because you associate yourself with the right kind of people that you deem as good people. And this can be good because first you get influenced by the right people based on your views, and you learn to accept people After you discover this, you learn to accept people but not get influenced by their beliefs anymore, because you have established your own identity and your belief. But there is a problem, and this is why we're gonna tackle the distress it brings. So there's the part 2, the distress. What are the distress that it can bring? First, it is the stress of confusion. The stress of you don't know what you should do and what you should be, and you feel that you're being peer pressured. And it is actually a theory made by David Elkind, which is what we call the imaginary audience, or what he calls the adolescent's egocentrism. It is you feeling that the people are watching you constantly, the people are trying to judge you constantly, when in reality it's just you seeing what you should be and feeling that you're pressured into doing it. And don't get me wrong, this is an important part of life, and we are all going to face it one day. And if you're already an adult, you have faced it already. And this fitting into the social norms, and that you think your friends is pressuring you into. You have the physical manifestation of that into fitting into social norms, which is peer pressure, and you have also that abstract fitting into social norms, which is the imaginary audience. And don't think that the adolescent egocentrism means that as you become more adolescent before you become an adult, you become more narcissistic. No, we're really gonna face it, because we need to find a sense of liability. And this thing that we put ourselves into can be helpful, but again, it is very stressful. And that is the distress that it brings. You have this sense of pressure, even if there's not. You have this feeling of confusion, which can cause a lot of distress. And according to the Mental Health Foundation of the UK, if you go to the mentalhealth.org.uk, according to their research, 20%, that's 1/5 of the population of children, 1/5 of the adolescents may experience mental health problems in any given year. And this is not just mental problems where you just cry. No, this is diagnosable problems. And they said 50% of mental health problems are developed and established by age 14. And by 75% of them, of mental problems, are established by age 24. And that is really important, meaning that the stress can really cause some mental problems in you, some mental issues. And this is not to say that you're crazy, it is just to say that the stress can be really hard on people at times. And they said 10% of children between 5 to 16 years old are diagnosed, yet 70% of them haven't had appropriate intervention to realize that they have a mental illness. And sometimes those 70% who didn't have appropriate intervention become the people who had mental problems by age 14. So, you're gonna think, well, this is stressful. Well, you have the perks, but it is more stress than development. And I'm not saying that your life should be full of stress. What I'm saying is, that is what is supposed to happen for you to develop. Humans learn in an environment where they are stressed. That's why we have adrenaline. That's why we have all of this sort of tingling sensation if we're in trouble, socially, physically, mentally. In any trouble that we're in, we're gonna feel this sense of fear and sense of adrenaline, because that's how humans learn. And so you're gonna think, well, this is really hard, so what should I do? And we go to the third part, the solutions. And there's no really thing that you can do, because if you try to treat yourself from becoming an adolescent, that's not gonna work out. The brain develops, you develop, and without development, no one's gonna be able to interact properly. We're just gonna be all children walking around. So, what should we do? We should seek guidance from adults, therapists, or a pastor. Why? Because we're children. the people who are going through adolescent stage, to the adolescent stage, or the adolescent people, or the children, those people who are under 13, they are going through things that they don't know what to do. And those adults, therapists, pastors, all of those people went through the same stage and they know what to do. And usually these people are successful, especially the therapist and the pastor part. They are successful in not only becoming a person but also becoming a leader. So you really know, or you can really get an advice from them on what to do, and realize that we are children and we need help. You cannot say that because I'm a child, I'm worthless or I cannot do anything. No, you're a child, that's why you need help. You can be extremely smart and extremely knowledgeable about things, but you cannot do anything if you are, or you don't want help from others. That's how humans exist. That's how humans work. And if you can't find guidance, you should really talk to people about your situation, because first, stress is really difficult and bottled up stress can really break you. And next is find people with the right values. Again, we're at the stage of identity versus role confusion. We try to figure out our identity. And if you want to live as an adult with the right values, as a good person, as a person with the right mentality, and a person with the right views in life, then you should talk to people who has that values right now, or who has the same goal as you. You know, it's the Bible says that walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with the fools and get in trouble. So you might not believe in God and you might not believe in the Bible, but this is actually something which is applicable to our life. You see, if you have the right people, you know, iron sharpens iron, and friends sharpen friends. And if you sharpen your wrong side of personality based on your beliefs, if you sharpen your wrong sides of your personality that you don't want to be sharpened, but you just got influenced, well, it's gonna be difficult to grow. And next, realize that you are an individual. Realize that you are a person that grows. You are not just a person where you need to conform into normalities in life. You know, we are individual. We have our own thoughts. We have our own beliefs. We have our own perspective. And I'm not saying that I'm a psychiatrist, but this is really important to realize, because if you don't try to conform and you just try to better yourself, it is better than trying to fit in with others. But if I say this, and then I said earlier that it is a normal thing to try to fit ourselves in, that's a thing. It's just for you to realize that there is a handle in front. And I hope this serves you well, and thank you for watching. Comment down below your thoughts and opinion about the topic, about what you have experienced. So just share your ideas and I'll make sure to tackle them in the next video. And thank you for listening. This is Think Out Loud with Mark Rebollido, signing out.